immigration is a really hot topic in recent years. Unfortunately, I won't have the time or the experience to provide in-depth discussion during the speech today, but I do want to share some of my personal stories. So before I dive into my topic, by show of hand, how many of you have heard the term H-1B? Wow, I'm very impressed. For those not raise your hand, H-1B is not a virus. It has nothing to do with H1N1. So H-1B, it is a program that was established as part of the Immigration Act of 1990. It allows companies, employers to recruit trained foreign workers to fulfill some of the specialty occupations that when there are few local talents can fulfill those. And lots of these occupations tend to be in science, technology, mathematician, and engineering, the STEM fields. And each year, for new applicants, there's a cap of 65,000. And for advanced degree, like master's degree or higher, there's an additional 20,000 cap. So the U.S. immigration, I have to think about U.S. CIS, I'm forgetting what a C is. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, they receive and reviews the application on the first Monday of April. And they will stop receiving application once the cap is fulfilled. So since 2014, with the recovery of the 2008 recession, the number of applications for H-1B has increased. And the cap has been fulfilled always on the first week of April. In 2017, there were a number of applications up to 263,000 within the first week of April. At a cap of 65,000, we're talking about every 1 in 3 applicants that will actually get their work visa to continue working legally in the U.S. Fortunately, I didn't have to go through the lottery system. Take a step back. So once you have a number of applications that's exceeding the cap limit, there has to be a lottery system to determine who are the lucky 65,000 workers that can get the visa and work legally in the U.S. I didn't have to go through the lottery system. I was fortunate, but not so lucky for some of my friends. One of my friends, she had to leave her patients behind in Kansas City, moved back to Hong Kong to continue her career as an occupational therapist. For other friends, it's mostly the stress and inconvenience living under the uncertainty. Lots of them, they don't want to make big ticket item purchase because they weren't sure if they're going to continue work in the U.S. or they had to go back to home country. A close friend of mine, she keep returning back to the laundromat when there's convenient wash and dry hookup in her apartment. One of my colleagues, he finally upgraded his couch from college to a brand new sectional after he got approved with H-1B visa. So getting the visa itself could be challenging. Now there are other issues associated with visa. So with the visa, it came with a 3-year period for free working, and then has the option to extend 3 additional years. Now lots of times when you go to the DMV as a foreign worker, your expiration date of your driver's license is tied to the expiration date of your work visa. So if there's a delay in processing your renewal application, you could end up with an expired driver's license. And that's what happened to me a couple years ago. During that time frame, I had to drive to work 30 miles a day with an expired license. During that 3 months, I can't travel for work because I can't get a rental car with an expired license. And during that time, I have to bring my passport and a piece of paper from my attorney explaining why I have an invalid license. So that's some of the challenges you have to deal with, and also there are hassles you have to deal with traveling abroad, coming back from the U.S. So besides having this piece of paper saying you can legally work here, you still have to obtain a separate visa page on your passport for you coming back to, for you traveling in and out of the country. So normally, I do that when I visit home in China. Now, a couple years ago, we have a friend that their wedding is in Panama, and there was only a few months in between the trip, and I just don't have enough vacation to go back home to renew my visa. So I decided to go to Mexico to get that stamp. Keep in mind that you can only get that stamp in a U.S. consulate, and there are no U.S. consulate within the U.S. border. So in order to travel to my friend's wedding in Panama, I had to first go abroad to get a visa in order for me, so after the wedding I can come back to the U.S. The day when I get the visa, comparing to the second day, the day I get a visa was fairly painless. It was half a day out of the trip to do face-to-face interview with the visa worker at the U.S. consulate. Now the second day, as we were returning back, traveling through the U.S. Customs Service back to San Diego, we went to Tijuana, Mexico. We are required to stand in a special line. It was a very long line. At first, we're not told how long the wait is going to be, and as the night falls, the line's slowly moving, and there's nowhere to sit. There are lots of people, and we're just one of them. And finally, we got to see the immigration officer and got approved. And the entire time, that was 3 hours. 3 hours standing and not knowing what to expect. So I'm really hoping with this speech, I get to share some of my personal story or some story that happened to my friends with you. It's really helping everybody to understand H-1B visa. It's not as scary as it sounds. It's not a disease. And I hope it would encourage more discussion about immigration in this great country. Thank you.